Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. This is always a highlight for us, the highlight of our week. When we get to hang out with you, it's just like a little bit of joy.
Because you are the bomb. All right, before we jump in, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about how to show a guy that you are interested in him. This is actually a topic we've been having some great chats about with the single sisters, but I'm not going to give you the scoops just yet.
Oh yeah, you want to stick around for this. Before we dive in though, we want to say a huge thank you to all of our patrons who support us over on Patreon. You guys are the bomb! The bomb! Because you have said we love the Girl Defined channel. We want to support each video by giving $1, $2, $3 per video, which comes out to like $4, $10 each month. And so as a small way to say thank you for your support each month, we have started creating a brand new product that's patron only.
Only patrons.
Exclusive. And so for example, here are some of our past products, which if you join our family on Patreon, you'll get all of these. The Christian Girls Breakup Survival Guide. Okay? Oh. You're probably going to go through a breakup, or maybe you have a friend that's gone through one, or maybe you're in one right now. This is just a little downloadable PDF, super helpful. We've got Battling Sexual Temptation, a biblical toolkit for Christian girls. So those are two of them. We also have
fear and anxiety, how to handle that.
Battling Fear and Anxiety, a 7-day prayer journal. That's a free product. We have a 31-day Proverbs devotional, a full-blown devotional that's free. So every month you'll get all the new products, plus you'll have access to all the past ones whenever you join. Check it out at patreon.com/girldefined.
Okay, this is just such a fun thing to talk about. So the other week I was chatting with my younger sisters who are single, and we were talking about this idea, like, okay, so what if you are interested in a guy and you're like, okay, he's a really great guy. I'm really interested in him, but he's not speaking up. We're like not in a relationship or anything, but I want to show him that I'm interested. I want to kind of set myself apart from the other girls who maybe aren't interested. How do I do that? Like, how do I not be like just like a big flirt, but still make myself very available and make myself very much like, hello, you know, because I know that it's hard. I mean, we always talk about it like two ditches, right?
I know.
It's like you have
like either the girls, and we know because we fall into one of these categories, right? There's like the group of girls, you split them in half, and half the girls are like running towards guys, like, boys, you know,
they're really good at
flirting,
talking,
outgoing, they like beeline
like,
for the guys.
Oh my God,
yes, like
all
so just right there with the guys, and then the other half of the girls are like, guys, and then they see them and they kind of like don't make eye contact. They sit at the other table. They avoid the guys. When they talk to them, they feel really nervous and awkward. And so where's the balance?
Like, which camp did you fall into though, by the way?
That one. Running towards guys.
I would have never guessed.
You were right there with me.
We were linking arms.
We were competing. I'm going to get there first. So we didn't struggle necessarily with like feeling awkward and shy around guys, but I know girls find themselves on either side, and I don't think either one's the best place to be. I think there's a balance. Somewhere in the middle.
Okay, we've made videos on like flirting and on all of this, but we want to get really practical today. So maybe you grew up in a home where you're like, okay, I need to be very like, you know, I'm really focused on purity and all of this, which is good, but you get to the point where you feel awkward around a guy, or maybe you're like, okay, I've been told I don't need to be such a flirt, but how do you just interact with a guy in a normal way, but still kind of showing him that you're interested in? We have a few tips for you to kind of help you with that. Okay, so say that a guy comes over to maybe your house or someone else's house and they're having a gathering and you see him come in. You have a couple options. You could avoid him because you're just like, oh my goodness, there he is, I'm gonna run away. Or maybe you say hi to him and you're like, hi, how are you doing? And then you leave right away. Or maybe you talk to him but you just don't make eye contact and you're looking everywhere.
So you're talking more to the girl who would struggle to talk to guys at all. Like,
I think
harder.
A little bit harder, Or, without even being overly friendly, like, jumping on his head when he comes in. So what's a good balance? I think a few things that you could do is you could just make mature, respectful eye contact. Yeah. So you're looking at him and you are connecting with him and you are showing him that you're interested. You're saying like, how are you? Jake, like, how's it going? I'm going to just throw that name out there.
Jake is always the default name.
I know, Jake is always the default name. So you're giving him eye contact, you're looking at him, you're showing that interest, and you're smiling. You're showing him, I'm enjoying this conversation with you. You're not, like looking at your time, yawning, like looking at your friends, trying to get away. You're engaging in the conversation. You're putting yourself right there with him, and you're showing him, like, I want to be here, and I am available to talk to you if you would like to talk to me.
Which is crazy, because when you describe it that way, it's really just a normal, friendly kind interaction.
But that's
There's
hard.
like nothing special about it, but it is hard because in that moment you feel like, oh, you feel awkward and weird and I just don't want to talk to him and now I'm embarrassed, because in your heart you're thinking like, oh, I'm interested and oh, he's cute. And so, but he doesn't know that. No one really knows what's going on unless you're really obvious. But it's just like, really, how would you treat, maybe if there was a girl that walked in and you were like, oh, hi, and you were kind of friendly to her, just like kind of take that same action and just be kind of friendly to the guy.
Totally. Or if you walk into, say, you're at church, whether it's youth group, singles group, and you see a couple open chairs and there's a chair maybe at his table. And for many of us, we're going to focus more on like if it's difficult to, I think, to talk to him. That's just, I feel like there's more girls that we've heard from that fall into that category. And since we've made some on flirting, let's focus more on that. So for you might think, okay, no way, I will never sit at his table. That is way too scary. No, like you've got to, if you are interested in him and you do want to show him like, I actually care about you and I want you to have the opportunity to get to know me. Be brave and be bold and go and sit at that table. And if there's a chair next to him, you can sit next to him. It's not that big of a deal. And we're not talking about being weird, like, hey, you know, like, just sit
don't
down.
Be a weirdo.
Like you would with another guy that you weren't interested in or another girl that's just a friend. So it's just making those decisions to kind of go towards him rather than away from him. Because it's like those, you know, those magnets where it's like opposite.
Yes,
it's like
they're like the reverse.
Pushing away. It's like oftentimes when you struggle to interact with guys or you feel like awkward, you run away from them. And how are you going to ever give him a chance to get to know you or for you to really get to know him if you don't make those mature efforts? What
Some other things I think of that I've seen like our younger sisters and some younger girls that are their friends do is to like initiate a game night or like host a gathering or even text some friends, including him, like maybe 5 or 6, like, hey, let's all go hang out and grab coffee or, you know, go on a hike or something. And you're purposely including him instead of like, I feel so awkward even inviting him to anything. Like, it's okay. You can include him in the group, invite him, give opportunities for y'all to be around each other. And I know that's so great when it's a group setting. There isn't like any pressure. You can just have fun and hang out. Now, so here, let's take it a step further. Like, let's say you're doing a good job. You're making eye contact. You're having conversations. You're maybe, you know, hanging out a little bit more. You're taking that chair next to him, but he shows zero interest. Like, let's say for months, he's like zero interest. I think I've heard girls say, well, now what do I do? What's my next step? And I think that's where you go, you know what? I've made efforts. I've let him know I'm interested through my actions, and now you just have to leave the ball in his court. And like, if he's gonna pursue you, he's gonna pursue you. If not, he's not, and that door's closed. Okay, you made good efforts. Now move on.
Yeah, and
right?
you can trust God with that.
Yeah.
I do want to give. I know I'm going backwards, but I have to. I have one more tip.
Oh, sorry. I
have one more tip. Know. I know. Well, I'm just thinking of them. So how can you know? It's like I'm thinking of them in the moment. But I think this is really important because I have talked about this with younger girls and like especially like teen and college age and. I know that the tips we've given you are great, but what happens when you get there? So now you're making that eye contact, you're smiling, or you're hanging out at that gathering, but then you're like, I don't know what to talk about. I am just a mute, and I feel so awkward.
You forget every question ever.
Like, and so you're like, what? Now it's just the worst because I just made myself look like a fool, and he now thinks I'm crazy because I was really awkward, you know?
Yeah.
So what I want to encourage you to do is to think of a few questions ahead of time.
Oh, that's
so
good.
I want you to think of open-ended questions. So not, how was your day? And he's like, good. Like more like, what was something you really enjoyed about this past week? That's an open-ended question. He can't just go, like, it would be harder for him to be like, basketball, you know, like, I mean, he could, but you're giving him the opportunity to give more than a one-word answer. Yeah. And when you ask an open-ended question, you are going to get more information, which you can pay attention to. And if he says, oh, I really enjoyed that, you know, I got to visit this college campus, or I got to, you know, read this book, then you go, oh, he just talked about a book. You read that book. That's really interesting. What was it about? Right. You're getting more information. And so just prepare a few questions like that you can ask. And then as he's talking, take mental notes to help you carry on the conversation. And then next time you see him, you'll have some more things that you know about him to talk about.
Yeah.
So it's not even the two of us being very extroverted and, you know, kind of, you know, we enjoy talking, we enjoy using our words. We both prepare before we go into conversations. If we're going to be getting together with someone, like another girl, mentoring, like we think of questions. What's going on in their life? What can I talk about? What would be interesting to them? Do the same thing, prepare questions, prepare your thoughts ahead of time, have them written down on a little card, put it in your pocket, and when you run to use the restroom, review your questions so you can remember.
So true.
I mean, I'm being so serious.
Yes, and it's so practical, and you don't have to feel weird. Like, well, I don't want to be a weirdo who has to have questions. It's like,
we all do it.
We all do it. We do it. Like, we know so many people who do it, and I think what that does is it helps you get to know him.
Yeah.
Instead of liking him from a distance, which happens so often, like, oh, I like him from a distance, but you don't really know him.
Totally.
What if you get to know him and then you realize, I don't actually like him so much. Like, our personalities, like, we don't click. Like, we're just not jiving. So how are you ever even going to know that if you're never around him, if you don't carry on a conversation and even make those efforts?
Yeah.
So really practical, but really super helpful.
Yeah, and I want to hear your ideas. I want to hear how you think that, just some ways that you can, show a guy that you're interested in him in a really appropriate, godly, God-honoring way. We're going to carry on this conversation over at Instagram at Girl Defined. That's where we're going to chat about this. So I want you to go click on the video and let us know, like, okay, here's something that I've done. Here's a tip that's really worked for me. Let's help each other out. Let's help the sisterhood out. We will see you over there.